What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK back with another reaction video. Today, we're going to react to the YouTube channel named No Trade Clause. Yeah, man, we're about to talk about some NBA finances up in here. Little by little, some, you know? Enough of the fluff. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know how I like to say, let's get to the stuff. All right, again, this is by No Trade Clause. The video title is The Dallas Mavericks Got More Than Just Anthony Davis in the Luka Trade. You don't say. You don't say. Let's get it going.
I also want to take a look at the Mavericks. Obviously, you know, their situation is interesting here. So this is the Dallas Mavericks cap sheet now, and we can see that AD and Kyrie are the big earners, obviously, 43, 41 million respectively. And then they also have a few mid-tier salaries with Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Gafford, Najee Marshall, Caleb Martin, who they just traded for today, actually, is now on this cap sheet. So that kind of is interesting to look at as well. So their situation here is a little bit different than the Lakers. They have a little bit less salary, so they're hard capped at the first apron here, and they are almost 11 million under the second apron. So they don't face as many restrictions in terms of building their team because they're so low. And with the Mavericks here, they were actually 5 million over the luxury tax before this trade, and they reduced their salary here. So when it comes to the luxury tax, they're actually a little bit below that. I think Bobby Marks reported that they're kind of like 628K under the luxury tax. So the Mavericks do have more flexibility. I want to point that out as well. And they can also go various different directions. We'll talk about this here in a little bit, but I mean, they have a lot of front court depth here with a lot of these players and some decent backcourt presence as well. But Kyrie's going to be leading the charge there. Same thing here, man. I mean, we talked about LeBron. Kyrie has a player option for next year. So theoretically, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but theoretically, he could opt out of that and explore opportunities elsewhere. I mean, I'd be crazy if that happens because I don't see where he want to go after this, but I do want to point that out as well because he does have player options. So
Kyrie would go to LA, dogs. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. You know, he would go to LA. I mean, he could stay in Dallas too, but if LeBron's like, man, I'm gonna take a vet minimum. You get your ass over here. You're not gonna go over there and be with your head hermano. Let's get it going.
You know, any thoughts here on the Maverick side of things when you look at some of their contracts?
Yeah, I mean, you broke it down as always eloquently, but like they're in an interesting situation because you do have a lot of lower tier contracts toward the bottom. But like some of those guys, I mean, you hope that Prosper is somebody that you can kind of look at. Jaden Hardy's there. Dwight Powell's a low one, but Derek Lively's going to be big, right? You just traded for Caleb Martin. I do like the contract. I think obviously there's a lot more to unpack between that Caleb Martin, Quentin Grimes trade that we can kind of get into. But, for whatever reason, we know that the Mavs had made an offer to Grimes, in the summer that didn't go through. So maybe they just kind of valued that long-term security at a pretty decent contract for Caleb Martin at a pretty decent number. But again, you have a similar type of good, solid, medium contracts. You do have your bigger ones at the top, of course, which command the most, and that's your quote unquote core, right? I would say those top four players, at least is currently constructed, Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, who aren't going anywhere, you would imagine, but make the most. And then Klay Thompson's at a really good number, but he's probably obviously going to stay. And PJ Washington, who I think, considering how he's been for Dallas, is probably underpaid just at that, if only by a couple mil. So I like it. I think, again, they're in a similar area. It's kind of odd thing about, except that it seems like they're mostly cementing whatever their team's going to be, whereas the Lakers are a lot more fluid with their roster construction at this point in time.
For sure. Yeah, and one other thing I want to point out with the Mavericks here, they got to give some props to AD here. They got to thank him because AD actually had a trade bonus that he was eligible for in this trade that he declined. He waived it, so it opened up a little bit more space for the Mavericks. And he was quoted just the other day saying that, hey, I made this decision because I wanted to give the team more flexibility in order to make moves, help us win, be more competitive. So it kind of shows that AD is like really serious about winning with this team. He's committed to bringing wins here, making a deep playoff run, making all this happen. It seems like he's pretty hyped about this. And, I know it's not easy leaving LeBron in LA, but I mean, it's not like he's going to the Wizards or something here. He's going to a solid.
Really depends how you look at it. Real quick, it could be the Dallas Wizards.
Team that still has a lot of talent, and they're coming off a finals appearance, so they're no pushovers. But we're going to have to monitor the situation here with their salaries. But because there are some decisions to be made, and we'll see what Kyrie does. That's the elephant in the room. And then a couple other guys are going to be unrestricted, Dinwiddie and Exum, two guys that they're going to rely on quite a bit here now that Luka's gone. Mm-hmm. That's going to change things up for sure. So, just kind of wanted to point all that out for next season. As it stands, it looks like they're a little bit over the tax. They do have a lot of space under the second apron. It kind of just depends on like what Kyrie does is going to determine how much space they have. But they could have a decent amount depending on what he does and how they go forward. But,
Damn, Anthony Davis goes from $43 million this year to $54 next year. Luka, I think, is going to be at 46 next year. So it's like, whatever.
AD's contract does take a big jump here. I want to point that out as well. Goes from 43 to 54 and then 57 in 2 years before a player option is 62.
Oh, AD's taking that 62 to the bank. I got promise you he's taking that 62 to the bank. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he gets another like 4-year deal where he's like at 40 mil each year, but that 62 kind of tough. It's tough.
So I mean, AD he's earning. He's making
that money.
Absolutely, man. So this is something to monitor for sure.
Something this has.
That was cool. I like the finances of it. I guess the big takeaway from that is that you can see in 3 years they really open up a lot of like cap. I don't know what they're gonna do with the extra cap space. And I think this summer, talk about a tumultuous summer, we're going to see what Kyrie does. And that'll tell you a lot about how the Mavericks are going to move forward. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I think that's pretty interesting to see the finances of it all. I was still trying to figure out what we got more than just AD per the title of the video, because I don't think we got to that point. But that's my only criticism. It's like these videos, man. I want these videos to tell me something related to the title, like put it together. Like I'm the only thing I'm gonna take away is you got more than just Anthony Davis in the trade. Well, what you get? I think you lost more cap space in the coming seasons with AD. I think you're gonna have a tough summer with Kyrie and trying to keep him. Like I don't know if we got more. If anything, we got more issues now. Or I don't know why I say we. I think the Mavericks have more potential issues to deal with as far as dealing with this upcoming seasons and especially with this roster, especially with Kyrie this offseason. It's gonna be big. So it's pretty interesting, cool to see, right? Like it's something different. It allows you to see the finances of the financials outside of a trade and how it changes the team and how they look like. So, but yeah, man. Been your boy TGK. Consider liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. Become a member. It's been your boy TGK, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. We out.